Welcome everybody to another episode of the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I am Eric.
The hater. I'm Lord Manny. Hey, Hayes.
Ho ho! I am Marcus, the grand finale from the Untitled Manny and Marcus show.
And we are here once again with episode 706. Over 700 episodes, Marcus. You and I and Manny has been a part of the show for what could we say, at least 20 episodes? 20 to 30?
I think it's about 20.
Yeah, we don't know, and you know, it's been a great addition. We also have Wes M. B. Moore, who I just found out this morning on the production meetings that he is claiming to be the champ when he is not the champ. He wants to be in the opening credits, but we all know who the true uncrowned champion is. That is this guy right here, because I was screwed by Lord Manny a long time ago, but we're not going to live in the past. We're going to stay in the present because...
Wait. Isn't Wes in the opening credits?
He is, Marcus.
He's in the opening credits.
Yeah.
Marcus, you have to understand, Wes is the maniacal, diabolical, whatever, I'm making up words, heel, that he doesn't realize that he's getting the credit that he deserves, but he just wants to be, a sour pants.
Does he not want to be a part of the Gilligan Island part and the rest? Maybe that's what he wants. He doesn't want to be a part of, and the rest of here on Gilligan Island. Is that what he wants? Because that's where I put him. I put him and the rest.
Yeah, you labeled him as the lumberjack instead of Wes. And Grunch Smurf asked the question, when did Wes get a delusional gimmick? According to Manny and Marcus, on one of the shows that they were doing, he's claiming to be the champion, but we all know he lost his title in the pre-show match. He didn't even make it to the main show. He lost it in the pre-show match.
Which is why we started a hashtag of #Where's the Chump.
With that being said, we are here, like I said, with another wonderful episode to present to you guys on what could be considered a very difficult week. The Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, passed away with a battle with cancer. And, it's a very sad day. I got caught off guard with that. So I'm glad that we can spread some type of happiness to the world with our little show that we do right here. And with that being said, someone had a little dose of happiness in a part of this show. That is Manny. Manny had the pleasure of being in the Thunderdome, the first member of the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast to be in the Thunderdome. And he was there Friday night, and Marcus and I made fun of him, saying that he would fall asleep in the Thunderdome, and we would hope to get a picture of him asleep, but he didn't.
Slumberdome.
Manny,
Slumberdome, as Marcus put it.
Explain to us your experience in the Thunderdome.
It was actually an interesting experience because you had a producer every time they went to commercial, or that they would tell you that you were coming out commercial, and then that you were going back live, and that they would actually prompt you to make some noise, not realistically make some noise, wave your hands and stuff like that. And then at one point, Drew Gulak came on the mic, like during an ad break, and told everyone to do some squats. Because it's a long show and you should be sitting down for so long.
One of the things that Manny sent us a message, because he was told to be there at 4 o'clock our time, and I'm not 100% sure what the time exchange is, because that's just too much. Welcome to the Lucha Dome. That's great.
Pop!
But Manny was like, why am I here so early? And the next thing you know, it was time for 205 Live that just started, and he was greeted with an Everrise match, knowing Marcus would have probably left the Thunderdome for personal reasons after that and never came back.
Absolutely. That would have been a personal attack. Like, you invite me to the Thunderdome just for that? That'd be ridiculous.
If I got a Nia match, I would have promptly got myself kicked out on purpose.
It'd be 5-star Nia Jax? Who's going to keep 5 stars? She's going to give you the title. If I win the title and Nia Jax have a spectacular tag match, Manny, I will be pissed. Pissed.
No, I feel like we have to go through a booking committee to admit that. I could go with the 5-star match and just take it away from you.
Yeah, Manny can say it was only 4.99 and not a 5-star match, and then you don't get it. Manny, were there any negatives or drawbacks of being a part of the Thunderdome?
I think it may have just been the browser, because I was doing it on my iPad. The only drawback was that it was very jittery on my end. Like, and it wasn't like HD quality or anything. It was like a really bad stream.
Okay.
Other than that, like the experience was pretty good.
And I'm assuming there's no interaction between the parties in the Lumberjack. You're just watching the show from your screen, and then you're on TV.
Yeah, it's kind of like, have you ever watched when you watch people do video game gameplay?
Yeah.
And then they're on live stream. You're in like a little corner at the bottom screen, and then you're watching what's going on.
And then also found out that you wasn't alone. Apparently, Kenny Omega joined you for the Thunderdome also. That's a very interesting report. I know people were saying, oh, why would he do that and all that. Hey, man, he likes wrestling. Why not see...
It wasn't really Kenny Omega.
He admitted to
it,
it, Marcus.
He was trolling.
Oh.
No,
I think trolling.
I think it was
it's
trolling.
A troll.
If it wasn't. Why not? He was trying to have some fun. I'm going to take it as truth, man. Because you know what? in the world of professional wrestling, we need a little bit of happiness. That's what we need. Marcus, do you plan on ever trying to get into the Thunderdome?
I might, do I care to be there? I don't know. I guess to say I was in the Thunderdome would be the reason why I would do it. But other than that, I just rather watch the show and not worry about anybody looking at me and seeing what my reaction gonna be.
I mean, you want to have genuine reactions because it was multiple times that I accused Marcus of being a racist and saying I think you were claiming that was Manny and it wasn't Manny because it was like a lot of bald-headed gentlemen there. And Marcus responded with this response. I look at Manny 3 to 4 or 5 times a week. I know who Manny is. Damn it, I know.
Just a sign that me and Marcus stream too much.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I've seen the back of that room of your door so many times that I know that whoever Eric thought was Manny was not him. He was like, oh, you thought that was Manny? No, I didn't. Whoever you pointed out, no, I know when I saw Manny because it was right around. I was like, oh, there's Manny, there's the room, there's the jersey, there's everything else.
Let me tell you something though.
New Day shirt, everything. It was all like, oh, there you go.
I did hate the fact that I knew Manny was in the Thunderdome because it really distracted me from watching SmackDown as a whole because I'm missing things that are going on in the ring because I'm trying to look at the screen and try to find Manny. And then unfortunately, guess what? Shit just switches really quick. And next thing you're like, and then you're like, oh, what didn't happen in this match? And it drives me freaking crazy. But with
to be fair,
Eric,
like of what we watched at SmackDown, the matches didn't really matter. The only thing that mattered was the end.
You're right. And since you talked about that, we're going to talk about the end. The whole theme of Friday Night SmackDown was that Postman Pierce. Sorry, I'm thinking about AEW.
Pierce, the other one.
Yeah, Postman Pierce was bestowed by the great Vince McMahon that he had to get this contract signed. And this is like, to me, it felt like a video game. You're playing an RPG, and he gave you a quest that is extremely difficult. That you had to go speak with the monster, you had to go speak with the supernatural being, and then you had to speak with the warrior. And it for me, it was hilarious because first, Pierce prepped the security team like, don't let nobody in here to hurt Vince. And clearly, Retribution doesn't show up on Friday nights.
No, how about this at Retribution? No, they show up on Friday nights. They showed the previous week. But they do not show up when security does their damn job. Today, security man arrested 3 Antifa members right outside the Thunderdome. Or they take the week off. They don't report that. They don't talk about that.
Well, so for me, Postman Pierce, he made his first delivery where he became Postman Pierce inside of the Firefly Funhouse, which for me took me back to Pee Wee Herman and things. Marcus, did you like seeing Postman Pierce inside of the Funhouse?
Yeah, wasn't Lawrence Fishburne the mailman?
He was.
Or was he like the cowboy? Yeah, he was the mailman,
yeah.
Right? So that's what that reminded me of, and his reaction of, what the hell? How did I get these clothes? Oh, Postman Pierce. And the funniest part is that I thought the most difficult signature for him to get would be the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. But it turned out to be the easiest. He was just like, why you want me to sign this? I'll do it anyway. But someone normally gets hurt. Later, Pierce. And I was like, that was an easy signature. Everybody else seemed to be very difficult.
I love the fact that Bray Wyatt was delusional to the fact that he is not the Fiend, but he was like, well, I'll sign this on his behalf because when the checks come in, it comes in with Bray Wyatt name on there, but we know who the Fiend is. I'll ask you, Manny, because he had to go get the signature from the monster amongst men, Braun Strowman, who got hit with a chair by Drew Gulak because they had a match later on that I will not discuss. But he handed the chair to Pierce. He still achieved that contract signing, but
I think Braun's stipulation for he would sign it was if he got a match with Gulak.
Yes, he wanted to fight Gulak.
Throw in the chair, and I was like, when did Pierce get booking powers?
He's had it. No. And one thing Pierce has had is booking powers. I don't know if you recall way back to when the time Jeff Hardy was DUIing outside the Performance Center and other situations. He has actually been the authority figure, but not announced as the authority figure on all shows.
I really enjoy Pierce because he just has that look, and I've always been a fan of Scrap Daddy. I mean, and now Postman Pierce is a thing.
Can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
When you saw Braun Strowman, he got hit with a chair, and Drew Gulak hit that dude. I thought it was a random guy. Did not see it being Braun Strowman. Maybe it was the camouflage he was wearing, but I did not pay attention to Drew Gulak trying to hit him. And then when Braun stood next to Pierce, you go, Pierce is a big dude.
Yeah,
because he's like basically height to height with Braun, and I think that might have been the wrong person. Maybe Jamie Noble should have been the guy looking for the contract.
No, I think that an authoritative figure like Pierce, his size, it shows that he's no pushover. Because, I mean, you could go and get Pat Buck, who's been abused by Nia Jax for so long. It just makes absolutely no sense. As the West asks, why are Wyatt and Braun so cool with letting Roman into their match? This fool's been going since January. Manny, do you have a question for that? How come the big dog is welcomed into the match with open arms?
Well, if he beat my ass on last Sunday, I want to give him a receipt. No, I feel like that's the main reason, whether it's for a title or not.
Yeah, and I have another answer for that, Eric. Roman was the number one contender for the Universal Championship before he magically disappeared, as they say. For COVID reasons, he's not coming in, and he had kids. And then the fact that he should be the one upset that he didn't ask for a triple threat match. He just wanted his one-on-one match he never got against Goldberg. I don't mean Goldberg. He should be fighting Strowman. He should be fighting The Fiend one-on-one. He is the big dog. He should be the man.
Well, Marcus and Manny.
He also never lost that Universal title because he did give it up once his leukemia came back.
Unfortunately, Manny and Marcus, I think you're both wrong, and I have a spoiler for you. The reason why the reason why he's in this match is because, as we saw at the end of SmackDown, when he finally signed the contract, we found out that he is now part of the Heyman hustle. He is now the new employee of Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman probably negotiated his way to get the big dog back into this match. And I must say, it's been a long time since I've been watching professional wrestling, since I have actually been shocked and I felt good about it. And that's what SmackDown brought to me at the very end. It left with a cliffhanger. Roman and Paul Heyman apparently are doing business together, and the world seems to be extremely happy. Manny, how did you feel about the union between Roman and Paul Heyman?
So I've got two things. I'll go with the Paul Heyman thing first. For all the lonely people out there, find someone that looks at you like the way Paul Heyman looked at Roman Reigns. It was beautiful. My friends, it was beautiful. But the other thing I had a problem with this with, so I had a problem with it. So all night he's been trying to get into this room. And then when it came towards the end, he just walked in. So at no point that door was locked.
He was very respectful. He was respectful.
No, it was almost like you haven't obtained these two badges before you can enter this gym.
I do feel like this was like a Pokemon quest, and ironically, I felt that Postman Pierce did it backwards because when you looked on paper in any RPG, the warrior is always the easiest badge to accomplish. So he should have went to Roman first, but apparently his stage guy said he had to get the Fiend, he had to get the monster. But Marcus, now he got Heyman and Roman.
But throughout the night, he was knocking on that door, and Roman wasn't answering. So, and I'm assuming it was a Paul Heyman going like that. But I appreciate them looking at that title and the contract. Roman going, I need to look at this. And It was a much better, and I hate to compare contract signing. They're completely different contract signings. But him looking at that contract signing opposed to what Moxley was doing with his contract signing was just more entertaining of what type of Roman is this? What are we getting? Because they left that intrigue all through the night. Is this the same Roman? Is he a face? Is he a heel? And you have that intrigue of what is he going to say? What is he going to do? And I think him and Paul Heyman together is one of the best pairings I've seen in a long time. And I'm really interested in where it goes. Because what Roman has needed his entire career is a mouthpiece. And that's what Paul Heyman can do. He's going to sell the shit out of this Roman Reigns.
Now, my question for you, Marcus, and you said it in your statement you just recently made, was that the question is Roman a heel or a face still? And everyone is clamoring to find out the truth if he's in the heel. My situation and my issue that I have with this, if he's a heel, we're not supposed to like him. But clearly, people want him to be a heel so they can like him. So I asked the question to you, Marcus, are faces and heels dead in professional wrestling?
Well, wrestling fans always like the heels better than the face. Or the grown-ass men wrestling fans. That 18 to 28 or 30, 40-year-old demographic, wherever it is. But not, the faces are for the kids. The heels are for the adults. Because, I don't know. For me, it's the same thing. Roman is going to be Roman. It's going to get the same type of Roman matches. You're going to get the same Roman appeal. Like, I had no beef with Roman. He's a solid guy. He's a solid wrestler. I have no beef with him. So him joining up with Paul Heyman, to me, doesn't make me go, now I can cheer Roman Reigns. Because I was already cheering Roman Reigns. Adding Paul Heyman doesn't add anything to it. Now you're just a bandwagon jumper. Now you're just, the Lakers got Anthony Davis. Ooh, they have LeBron. Ooh, I have a chance to go win a championship with the Lakers. Or, vis-a-vis, I'm going to cheer the Clippers. Vis-a-vis. Motherfucking B.
What you been doing? Watching CNN?
Apparently, I have. The bandwagon, like the Clippers and Paul George joining, all these Clipper fans show up. Or the Golden State Warriors. That's what I feel wrestling fans are. A bunch of bandwagon jumpers. You need to stay out the Roman Empire, because the rest of us here have been here since day 7.
Well, Marcus, I think you make a very good point, but I think the self-proclaimed champ in the Lumber Chat, Wes and B-More, he says that's like saying all girls like bad boys, wrestling fans like heels. Manny, I ask you this question. With Roman possibly being a heel, I don't know if you were a booer of Roman Reigns or not, but...
Booer?
Yeah, a booer. Because I'm a boomer, he's a booer. Would it be extremely hypocritical of all these people who chanted Roman sucked to all of a sudden start saying Roman is the greatest thing ever?
No, because you got to realize every fan is fickle, as Daniel Bryan once said about the fans when he was going through his everything needs to be green kind of gimmick. But so yeah, like you've seen it a number of times. Like the biggest one in my memory was The Rock, where it was die Rocky die. He turned heel. They all started to boo him till they realized how good he was on the mic and how electrifying the man was. And people will change their opinion. And I feel that's what they'll do with Roman, because I feel like you're going to see a different side to Roman, which wasn't the shove you down your throat kind of vibe, but which I think is the main reason why they didn't like it.
Okay, and
the fact that they could have got they wanted him to win that Royal Rumble back. I can't even remember the year, maybe 2013, and then or 2014, and then he won it in 2015. They turned on him because they got what they wanted. They didn't like it. They wanted it a year ago.
I think for me, the reason why I'm cheering Roman right now, and why I was cheering him before, is that for the first time, he looks like the chains have been broken and he can be the badass that he's always wanted to be. He looks like a man that is possessed. He looks like a man that is there to kick ass. And I look forward to Payback to see what happens, because I can actually tell you, I know Braun is not going to win the match, but I don't know if Fiend or if Roman gets the title. It should be a very interesting watch. Now, gentlemen, something I would like to...
before we go further.
Okay.
I know. I'm going to continue Roman. Does the music and his attire have anything to do with this? do you think people would turn on him if it was like, it's the same Roman Reigns?
Yes.
Coming out in the same attire and same Shield music. Do you think people go like, we've been ripped off, they've been boozled, we've been hoodwinked, even though he is still a heel? If he is a heel. I'm assuming he's a heel. If you're Paul Heyman, he's a heel.
Well, excuse me. I think that one of the biggest knock of Roman has always been that he's the only one that kept the Shield's music. And I think Roman does need a fresh restart. I'm not really sure what that music can be. We'll find out at Payback if something happens. For me, I'd rather for him to keep the same music and lose the vest. But to each is their own. Now,
I want to come on dressed as Brock Lesnar. I want him to come back just gloves or tape hands with some shorts on, no shirt, and just ripped and just looking like Lesnar.
No, I want him to be dressed like an Uso, and then we can restart the bloodline. That's what I need, and that's what we should get.
I agree. I like the bloodline coming back. Now, I'm going to deviate from the script that I wrote for myself on this show, and I need to ask you guys a question. I'm not really sure if on the many episodes that you guys did this week, did you guys discuss the PWI ranking and how Jon Moxley was the number one ranked wrestler of last year? So you guys shook your head that you hadn't. Marcus, I turn to you. Do you agree with Jon Moxley being the number one pick?
You know, with this being our 15th anniversary show, which no one has brought up or no one actually cared, but we have been covering the PWI Top 500 rankings for 15 years. We know what this ranking is. It ain't shit. It has never been shit. I think one time the Miz was number one. People was in an outrage. Roman was number one. Lesnar's number one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who they put as number one. It's full kayfabe mode. And if they want to put Jon Moxley number one, that's fine. More power to you. Do I agree with that, even in kayfabe? No, I do not. I don't feel like he's been the top champion. If you were going full kayfabe and you had to pick somebody from AEW, you would go Jericho at that point.
I would also agree, Marcus. Jericho would be my pick. Adam Cole was number 2 on the list. He lost out to Jon Moxley. I think that was even extremely too high for him. Manny, Jon Moxley is being number one on the list. Do you agree it would be Jericho, or do you think it's Mox?
If you're comparing Mox to Adam Cole, I feel like Adam Cole has had the better year.
Yeah.
Between the two of them. The better matches and the better year. The better promos. I feel like Adam Cole is a little too high, but Moxley is way too high. I agree Jericho should be in the top 5. But I don't think he's number one. I could push Adam Cole to be number one. It'd be a stretch, but I feel if you're willing to put Mox as number one, I would in my top PWI, the MWI top 500. Adam Cole will be in number one.
I would say, though, the reason why I put Jericho up there, because Jericho had the entire AEW company on his back, and he carried that company for so long. And unfortunately, yes, he has been a shell of himself since he lost the title, and he's no longer Le Champion, but he did give me a little bit of the bubbly, and I think for that fact alone, he's number one on my list.
Now, in this year run of champions, where did they put Drew McIntyre since... It's been, what, like 3 months of him being champion?
Marcus, let me honestly say I only remember the first 2 people on the list because this was not something that I was going to talk about. But when you were talking about Roman and I mentioned the Shield, it made me think of Moxley, and I remembered he was number one on the list.
Okay.
Maybe on the next episode we can talk more about this. I don't know.
I want to argue and say Drew is a very underrated champion. He has been a really good champion for the WWE title since winning it. And considering the way he won the Rumble... and he's going through this pandemic. He's no champion. To quote Donald Trump for some reason, no champion.
I thought you was quoting Otis.
No champion has been treated this unfairly in a long time. Like Drew's going out there I don't think he's had a bad title match. Even the match with Big Show after WrestleMania, the weird one, was actually a solid match. He got through Brock Lesnar in 5 minutes. He's the Ziggler matches were good. The Lashley match was good, and the Orton match was really good. And I think it's just going to continue to this wave of him being an underrated champion throughout his reign.
You know, Marcus, you said there's no other champion that's been mistreated as much as Drew McIntyre. I disagree. And the true champion returned on this week's episode of SmackDown. I'm referring to the true Intercontinental Champion, my boy, your boy, Sami Zayn made his epic return and let the world know that he is the true champion. And Marcus and Manny, I did not realize how much I miss Sami for the simple reason he's annoying, he's hilarious, and it felt right because this was his first championship he won in WWE, and he was being robbed of it because he wanted to stay home. Did you like the return of Sami, Manny?
It was really enjoyable. I loved the way he just came out. It brings you back to the bogus title back in the day between Shawn and Razor. But I hope they do this better because they tried it with John Cena and CM Punk with the Summer of Punk, and that fell flat very quickly. So I want to see how well they pull this off. I've got good hopes for this.
Well, I thought that WWE did a very good job of weaving stories throughout the entire thing because the way that you got his return was first you had AJ Styles come out there and talk about how he wasn't medically cleared to wrestle because of the illegal activities of Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy came down to the ring and had an open challenge that he said that I would have let you fall in it, AJ, but apparently you're not medically cleared. Nakamura comes out. Nakamura and Hardy has a fight with AJ on commentary, and then AJ points out that Jeff Hardy used that damn knee brace again, which I thought was amazing. And then Sami Zayn makes his epic return. Marcus, the meal that they made in this whole storytelling, would you agree that was some of the best storytelling WWE has done in a long time in this little segment of SmackDown?
I thought the confusion of it all because you didn't really see Sami coming. You thought it's just AJ Jeff Hardy storyline, and then at the end you get the Liberator, Sami Zayn, come out there looking like the greatest hobo I've ever seen, looking like he was in the trenches in Africa feeding children. That for months on end, just gone and coming in yelling. The only way this segment to me could have been better if Sami didn't win the current Intercontinental title belt and had the old Intercontinental title belt.
Yes.
And came out there and said, "This is the real Intercontinental Championship." That's the only way to be better. But they didn't plan that far ahead. They didn't think Sami would be gone that long. I'm assuming. The main thing when Sami came back, the first thing that appeared in my head was WWE must be really doing some serious testing now that Sami and Roman are both back.
And then you want to talk about, let's give a shout out to the script supervisor who kept continuity because later on the night we were inside the championship lounge, which is one of my favorite places on SmackDown with Cesaro and Nakamura. But I forgot to also mention that they cut back to Cesaro, who had no idea that Nakamura was challenging for the IC title, and they wanted to know if he felt some type of way that Nakamura is trying to get individual gold. But Nakamura and Cesaro are having a meeting in the back, and then the Great Liberator comes back in and is like, "Hey, we're all champions in here." And they're looking at this dude, and Nakamura says, "Man, we ain't heard from you in 4 months. We ain't cool. You didn't call, you didn't text. We thought you was dead." And for me, when they said they had a private conversation, they needed him to leave, and Sami was hurt, I said, "This is why I miss Sami Zayn." And this was my favorite thing on SmackDown by far.
That was my favorite thing on SmackDown. Though it comes close to one of my favorite. I mean, SmackDown has some good moments of you had the Roman, you had Sami, and then you had my favorite thing. I guess we're gonna talk about it later with the Golden Role Models.
Marcus, we're gonna talk about that right now, baby. We're gonna talk about that right now.
But I think Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles in the feud, just considering where that match can go, is gonna be amazing. Jeff Hardy's actually been surprisingly good in his second return. Like, his matches have been pretty solid. It's a different style. It's not as daredevil-y or high-flying, but he's having a very psychologically sound run.
He's doing better than Matt. That's all I can say. So as Marcus brought up the Golden Role Models, and the Golden Role Models were a part of some of the most. First of all, Sasha came to work wearing cow pants, and honestly, I didn't think you could pull it off. But I was like, you know what? You're okay.
That cow. You milk that cow, huh?
And Bailey had on jeans. I was like, this is a good moment. And Marcus, I'm not answering that question.
Someone's gonna clip that. You know that, right?
Yes, and so I think when we knew we were in for it is when we got introduced to the Golden Role Models, and it was backstage because Big E and Otis and Tucker Knight were back there talking, and they were exchanging meat with each other. And Sasha and Bayley walked in, and Bayley said one of the most cold and heartless lines. Some people can't hold singles gold. All they can do is win tag team titles. And then Big E looks at Sasha and points. And it's like, oh boy, this is going down.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure the other two were pointing with sausages, which made it even worse.
Well, Sasha didn't make it any better when she walked up. Look at what I expect you guys. It's a bunch of men, a bunch of clowns playing with their meat.
Yeah.
Or playing with each other's meat.
And,
so it was like, oh, ridiculous.
And everybody know, I've been waiting for Sasha and Bayley again. They even gave us a flashback of showing their match at NXT TakeOver when the boss showed up in the car. I say on Payback, this is the match I'm looking forward to the most because it has so many ramifications. Marcus, I turn to you first.
The shade didn't end there, though.
No, it did, Marcus. Go ahead, Marcus. Let us know about the rest of the shade.
Well, Bayley gets to the ring, and I don't know when Bayley stopped giving a fuck, but she stopped giving a fuck tonight when she brought up, Sasha, I know I shouldn't have let you fight that match. We know you can't retain titles.
Yeah.
We know you can't do that. And Sasha just had a look at the bitch.
Yeah, but let's not get this wrong. Eric picked his side very clearly last night. In the group text, Eric went, Bayley ain't shit.
Yes!
I was like, for what? Pointing out the truth?
You know what? There's one thing to be an honest person, but it's another thing to tell that person the truth to everybody in the world, to remind everybody that Sasha doesn't know how to retain anything.
And Manny, let's also point out too that Sasha, she pointed this out, she helped Bayley retain her titles because technically Bayley should not be champions if Sasha did not involve herself in. And unfortunately, Bayley did not reciprocate the offers and kept not interfering and like that little subtleness of Bayley avoiding contact and always being not available to help Sasha makes it even better.
Asuka punch her?
Huh?
I'm pretty sure Asuka punched her and she sold it. A little too well.
Talk about Monday Night Raw. Yeah, Bayley on Raw when Asuka, because I was going to talk about that when we got the Raw. But overall, I really like this, and I'm not happy that Shayna and Nia Jax will probably win the women's tag team titles, and I will jump to that point because they did have a merger. They are like, for me, and I know Manny's not going to agree because he hates Nia Jax, but on paper, they may be the modern day female mega powers because these are two entities getting together that should be unstoppable with each other. Manny,
you just called one of Macho Man and Hulk Hogan.
I did, and I'm not going to pick who. Well,
mega powers.
Well, yeah.
Mega powers.
Who?
This is at best men on a mission.
Wow. Wow. That is hate. That is hate beyond hate.
You went with full mega powers. Like, the mega powers were the two top stars in the company teaming up together. This is Nia Jax and Shayna. This would be the equivalent if half of the Bushwhackers teamed up with Viscera to form a tag team to go after the I can't think of the Smoking Guns.
I realized that the Mega Powers might have been a little bit extreme with my pick, but I got a reaction that I wanted to get from you guys.
Bayley is not on the Mega Powers.
Yes, they are.
You took it like our boy Cameron Grimes. You took that to the moon.
Okay, this is Eric. Sasha and Bayley are the Mega Powers, and Nia Jax and Shayna are the Big Boss Man and Hakeem the Capri dancing machine.
Okay, Marcus, you win. That's who they are. I'm okay with that comparison. Now, the closeout SmackDown, I'm only putting this because I know Manny is a Big E supporter. Big E and Heavy Machinery defeated Miz and Morrison and Sheamus, and Morrison might have had my favorite moment of the night when he said that he duct taped a baseball to his foot and he kicked it through the radar, and he kicks at 77 miles per hour. I just don't know why. Why?
That was just one of those stupid things. I want Morrison to continue to say just ridiculous stuff like that, as well as our strategy to beat this team is to not let Big E, Tucker, or Otis get into the ring. And then the Miz look up, how the fuck do we win? That's your strategy. So I enjoyed that.
So SmackDown overall was
Can I add another thing?
Go ahead, Marcus.
Sheamus being upset and ringing the damn bell and being frustrated with the referee and walking out was probably the biggest sign of frustration I've ever seen from a wrestler, just in general. There's other things going on with Sheamus, apparently.
Yeah, he had no time. But something that frustrated a lot of people took place on Monday this week, and that's when Randy Orton decided to punt Drew McIntyre not once, but twice. And later on that night, Drew McIntyre was able to walk. And you would think that the frustration would end right there, but no, it did not. Because this was also the week that the Limitless, Keith Lee, made his epic debut. However, he made his epic debut with generic rock music and new ring attire that set the wrestling world ablaze. Marcus, what was more disappointing? Drew McIntyre not selling both of the punts, or Keith Lee and his mediocre debut?
I didn't have a problem with him not selling the punch. He's a WWE champion. If Shawn Michaels can get up for one, he can get up for like 3 at least. But the punt works effectively after the match. I was okay with it, and you can clearly see he didn't get all of it on all 3 of those, or 2 of those kicks. So I had no problem with the punt. The Keith Lee thing was a very roller coaster edition of a 3-hour Raw, in which you already have the Keith Lee is coming to Monday Night Raw. It's Limitless. And you're like, and everybody's already had their thoughts. When you get to the main roster from NXT, it is time to bury that wrestler. And so when your first edition is, you hear Bastard Glory, and then all of a sudden you hear da 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 da. You go, what the fuck is this? And then he comes out and his attire is different later, and it looks like he's wearing a dress, and you go like, oh my god! But then Randy Orton challenges him they have a match, and then they have a match, but he looks like he's going to lose the match, and then Drew saves him, and then he goes and defends Drew at the ambulance after Drew gets kicked again, and they have a match at Payback. It was a roller coaster of emotions for Keith Lee, in which you don't know if he's alive or dead. That's how I felt. I didn't know. I still don't know. We gotta wait this Sunday at Payback to see if his career is still alive.
Manny, do you share the same sentiments as your partner in crime, the grand finale?
I feel like the Limitless Keith Lee has reached his limit in Vince's Playhouse. But there's talks that there may be change of music again and everything like that. But he's basically got the run of the Viking Raiders, where they were the Viking experience. Previously, the War Raiders. So he's getting that experience right now.
I mean, I could say that I was not as worried about the Keith Lee debacle that they had on Monday night as others were. I mean, when you read more about the people who created his music in NXT trying to hold WWE at ransom to have more money for the use of that music, I understand trying to go and pivot, going to another route. As Keith Lee said on his Twitter, he can fix his attire. I personally didn't see anything wrong with it. I think
they covered the fat man. They fat shamed us all.
Fat.
He's fat, Marcus.
They fat shamed us all. Samoa Joe's allowed to be fat. The Viking Raiders are allowed to be fat. Why can't Keith Lee be out there with no shirt, letting all his jelly
Because Marcus, let me take Marcus, because you know what? I am going to an unofficial correspondent of the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast, and that is Ralph from the Mid-Card Mess. And he said that he was watching Raw with his girl, and his girl saw fat-ass Keith Lee covered up, and she said, man, he's out of shape. And I go to the fact of the casual fan that watches Monday Night Raw. And Monday Night Raw is something that more casual fans watch, and you have to have a great first impression. On NXT, that is hardcore wrestling fans. You don't care if he's fat, if his body's two-tone. If he can put on a great match, it's good to go. Let me finish, Marcus. So them covering up Keith Lee in this situation, I saw absolutely nothing wrong with it because at the same time, he's making a change from NXT to Monday Night Raw. So you don't want to have the same character that took place in NXT. Now, sir, it is your time to have a rebuttal. Go ahead.
My rebuttal is simple as this. One, in the UFC, I just watched Daniel Cormier, the fattest fighter I've ever seen, fight. And no one disrespects him and go, oh man, that dude too fat to fight.
You were not on Twitter, Marcus. Everybody was disrespecting him on Twitter.
What I'm saying is there's a respect value. You just get you get used to it. Like when Roy Nelson, your boy, was fighting, people got used to the fat fighter. The fat fighter is okay. I feel like what makes him fatter is them giving him that leotard shirt to cover his fat ass up. But
the same leotard that Kevin Owens wears with his t-shirt.
Kevin Owens actually slimmed down.
But when he debuted, he had the leotard underneath his t-shirt.
I just feel a wrestler wrestling in a t-shirt can't work. And then my biggest complaint wasn't the shirt, it was the shorts. And it wasn't a dress, it was just an MMA. And that's where I come back. I think I mentioned this on the Tuesday edition of the Untitled Manny and Market Show, which you catch every day at 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. BST time. That I believe it was a combination of he bought the shorts, his stomach and body did not look right in the shorts. I believe Manny brought this up as well. And that he had to cover up. So I wait to pay back to see. Maybe he will be the fat Jolly Keith Lee we know. And who knows where we go from here.
I'm actually happy that Keith is not wrestling in his boxer briefs anymore. I personally didn't like that attire. Grunch Smurf said in the chat, he says, no, you don't change what made the person they do not too often with the call-up. That's where I disagree with you, Grunch Smurf, because I believe there is a different audience that watches Raw from NXT, and you have to make some modifications to try to make it more appealing to the casual fan. Manny, I turn to you in this situation. How do you feel about his attire, his dress, making changes when they're called up? Do you agree or disagree with that aspect of WWE and their practices?
Well, it's going to happen. You have to be prepared for it. That's the thing. You know what you're signing up for. If you want to get to the main roster, you've got to know this kind of stuff, and it's ebbs and flows. You've got to go with it.
And I think for me, the biggest disappointment of the entire thing is that they knew they were calling it up. So you wish that WWE would have been better prepared for this call up. But as usual,
they didn't know.
They fumbled. Man, everyone knew.
They didn't know. They didn't know when they were calling him up. I believe this was a situation in which the Royal Rumble happened. Keith Lee was probably going to get called up after WrestleMania. They had no idea how long this pandemic and this empty arena shit was going to last. So they were like, we'll save him for later, to when we get a crowd. Lo and behold, we're almost in September, and we do not have a crowd. And Vince goes, I think I want to shake. We need to boost ratings. I want that big motherfucker back here now. And Daddy Triple H or Big Papa Triple H, I want Keith Lee here now. And I believe that has changed a lot of people's career paths in which that they planned on calling like the whole pandemic of when do I call people up? When do we save this up for a big show? Similar things going on in AEW. When do we turn Hangman Page or what? Because no one expected a pandemic to go this long in America.
You know, maybe
you're not even out of phase one yet.
Nope, we're not. We're staying in phase one. Know why, Manny? Because we're number one. With that being said,
if we're in phase one, we're still. If this was the Marvel universe, we're still in Iron Man 2. That's where we're at.
So, Manny, I'm going to ask you. We had Kevin Owens have his KO show, which led to Aleister Black attacking Kevin Owens. Do you feel this is a good place for Aleister to be in this situation? Because I'm assuming he might be heel. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing, but he beat up Kevin Owens.
He'll get a good match out of him, definitely. But I don't know where you go from it. Like, do you have a long series of this, or does he move on? It's hard to tell when you've got a dark character like that. And it's hard to tell what direction they're going to move him into.
I mean, and with WWE's obsession over eyes as of late, I'm not really sure how many eyes he has to lose to become a true evil genius. Marcus, you've been a Kevin Owens supporter, and do you think this is a good program for Kevin Owens to be involved in with Aleister Black? Because I would think ideally Black will go over in the long run, correct?
Yeah, it's not good for Kevin Owens, but it's good for Aleister Black. I feel like this week in wrestling, or mostly WWE, it was the rise of the heels. Like, the new crop of heels are coming through, where you got Aleister Black turning. You got teasers of Alexa Bliss turning for breaking that damn cup. What a bitch, by the way. What a.
Let's not forget about the. Let's not forget about the subtle dreadlock. Yes, Nikki does deserve that because she saw her friend get attacked by that man and she did nothing. Nothing.
Tamina got a segment, so shout out to Tamina. But
one step closer to Marcus getting that championship by by hook or crook.
Yeah, by hook and crook.
Tamina in the bank.
Tamina in the bank. No one's meaner than this Tamina. But I feel like the heels had a good week of turning and people were just reassessing on who should be heels and faces with Aleister, Bliss, Roman, even the Hangman Page scenario, whatever in AEW. But in general, I feel like they wanted to like, these are the new generation of heels. We need to step up the heel game. And it has sacrificed every babyface. Oh, with Ciampa on NXT. And I think Aleister Black fits better as a heel right now. He was, and it changes things up for him saving Rey Mysterio and getting him out of that storyline, which I'm really happy about. And eventually you team him up with Zelina Vega, the poison bitch who poisoned Montez Ford, and they can have a run. They can have a run together. We have aligned this.
Interesting. Marcus, El Luchador said he can't hear us, but it looks like the audio on our side is working. I'm not really sure.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. Marcus, it's funny that you bring up heels, and I'm going to bring up two heels that I know no one probably mentioned, and I don't think you guys talked about this on your show, but I could be incorrect about this. But two heels that took place on Monday Night Raw was the BOAT, the best of all time, Natty, and her lace catsuit with Lana in her lace dress, talking mad shit in the middle of the ring about Mickie James. That this led to Mickie James coming down to the ring, Mick kicking him, and then like the whole segment ended. This was so bad. It was good.
Did you watch the backstage segment of this?
No.
It got way worse.
What happened?
So Natty is now holding Lana like coddling her as they walk through Gorilla, and Lana's all crying. He's like, I don't know why she kicked me. It's maybe because I've got more TikTok followers than her. And Natty's all comforting her like a mum.
But go ahead, Marcus.
I enjoyed the segment for everything it was. I'm enjoying the Natty Lana pairing for maybe all the worst reasons. Because it's two people who I really can't stand on the microphone, who are given the microphone to talk. And then that they had this, the highlight of Mickie James' career was just a blank screen. It felt like a segment that they had, that they planned for it to be longer, but it was like, you guys got like 20 seconds. Go talk shit. No, we're going to say a promo. She's going to kick you in the segment. No explanation after.
And like for me,
I loved it.
I just thought the fact that they were wearing like the lace bodysuits was like, where do you get that from? It just, I mean, looking, it was like, yeah, you know what, it's not bad looking, but at the same time, it was like, okay. But then, for me...
What was your response? Looking at it, and then I was like, yeah, not bad looking.
Because,
okay.
I don't know your response. No, because when you look at Natty, you be like, you know, Natty, maybe, I don't know. You just don't know. You probably would, but you probably wouldn't admit it. But my biggest issue that I had with this is that it led to the Lumberjill match, which might have been the worst Lumberjills of all time in the Asuka versus Sasha Banks match. Because, first of all, Mickie, the BOAT, and Lana are out there, and they're not even interacting with each other. And these were the worst Lumberjills. We just don't need to have it
before, right?
Huh? This was after.
Right?
It was after. Yeah, it was after.
I don't care. It was terrible. The Lumberjacks do one job. You got one job to do, Lumberjack, and that's beat the person up and throw them in the ring. This week in our watch-along, we saw John Cena in a 3 Stages of Hell match with the Ryback, and they had a Lumberjack match as one of their stages. And the Lumberjacks were laying it in on John Cena. And the heel when Ryback would come out, everybody parted away, which gave me the belief that the heel locker room is always going to be stronger than the face locker room because it's unity. They understand what they're doing. But in this, unity. I didn't even get that. Unity. I didn't even get that in this match. I just got people just standing around only for Asuka to lay everybody out.
Marcus, the faces could not give a damn that Asuka was getting beat up on the other side by the heels. They had the latest reaction I've ever seen in my entire life.
But who really the heels? Who really the heels?
I don't know.
The faces ain't doing nothing. Who really the heels? The heels will protect you.
The uncrowned sharpshooter champion West said he would in regards
Why
to.
Why does he get uncrowned? Why does he get uncrowned?
I'm sorry.
He's not even near the title. He's in the back of the line.
Marcus, I forgot two special words. The self-proclaimed uncrowned sharpshooter champion.
No. You are on the show, so you can be the uncrowned.
I am.
He's in the lumber chat. Therefore, the people's chump.
we all know who Ericus really is. We all know. The last thing we want to talk about is that the main event that took place on Monday Night Raw. It was the Mysterios against the Monday Night Messiahs. At the end of the day, Retribution intervened. They beat them up and they got out, and all the memes came out that at the point of who are these people. The groups, 1 minute they're 40 people, next minute they're 5 people, but these 5 people look more recognizable. I felt that this ending was kind of flat for me. Marcus, what about yourself?
Yeah, it didn't work, and you made the Mysterios and the Monday Night Messiah sound like legit tag teams, Eric. You made it seem like, WWE has a tag team main event with 2 legit tag teams? Because, you're like the Mysterios. But no, I did not need this ending. This ending, considering all the other endings, other than the AEW ending, this was the worst. I'm on board with this Retribution thing, and they have until Payback. I know I gave them to SummerSlam, but Payback is at Retribution.
You gave them an extension? How do you give somebody an extension, sir?
This extension to see if I am on board with this Retribution stuff. And they have until Payback to say I'm on board or not, and that'll be it. And I don't know where they're going with this.
Should I assume
it make no sense
that this person in the chat room might be Manny's girlfriend?
It's not.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's such a bait, to be honest. Wow, Manny, go ahead, Manny.
Oh man, I'm missing it. Get it, Manny. Get it.
Yeah, Manny. Go ahead, Manny. What about you, Manny? Did you like the way that Retribution closed out the show on Monday Night Raw?
I'm a little bit distracted now.
Everybody, I think Manny is blushing.
I thought it was pretty lackluster, and especially what you had going on in the Thunderdome, where you saw a beheading. It was a really bad time. This match was really good though, and from what I've heard, I know there was an interview last week with someone did with Dominic, and apparently Vince was very high on the match that Dominic had with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. So we could be seeing good things for Dominic in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dominic, he needs a little bit more practice, but he held his own against Seth Rollins. I think as long as he fights very good, capable opponents, he should be perfectly fine.
I think the benefit is that he is working with really good talent, as in Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio and even Buddy Murphy. These guys are really good in the ring, and they can make anybody look good. And that's good job for everybody all around.
Well, so as we talk about working with talent, it's now time for me to move on to AEW, and where talent could be a subjective opinion in this situation. And we're
wow.
Oh, wow. Wow, you starting off like that?
Well, I gotta keep Mark.
On Dynamite, son?
I got.
You didn't even put Dynamite using C4, man, homie.
I gotta keep hate alive, Marcus. Gotta keep hate alive.
You got to keep the hate alive.
So
gotta keep the hate going. While everybody trying to find peace, Eric wants to keep the hate going. Let the hate flow through you.
Well, Marcus, I'm traveling through state lines with an AR-15 to cause havoc. That's what I'm doing. With that being said, Adam Page got exiled out of the Elite. And rightfully so. AEW started off, Manny has a question.
I thought he wanted to separate himself from the Elite 4 or 5 months ago.
He did. So he finally found a way to do that. Because we got some convoluted gauntlet match to start off Impact where all the tag teams who are ranked was going to fight each other to find out who would fight the tag team champions. When normally,
just rank the number one.
Normally, yes, when you have a ranking, if you have a number one contender, that is the person that fights the champion. But whatever, we're going to have the Natural Disasters go against the Young Bucks where the Natural Disaster loses. Then we're going to have the Young Bucks go against the Best Friends, and then the Best Friends get the shocking win because Adam Page comes out and holds a leg of Matt Jackson, and oh no, the Young Bucks are so irate over this, and then it leads to, oh, I guess I couldn't predict this to happen. FTR wins because they have rules, and they're the only ones that can follow rules, and they're the new number one contender for the titles. Wow, big shocker there, AEW. And then later on, we get the Young Bucks confronting Adam Page in his bar area. Just like, how dare you do this to me? He didn't like your ass 2 months ago. Matt Jackson, you guys had a fight. Like, why are you surprised? This pissed me off, Marcus. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, Eric, I can feel the anger flowing through you. You will be on the dark side of the force right now.
The red would be shooting from his veins. It'd be coming out. You could see it.
Yeah, imagine the Jedi Council watching an episode of AEW. The Jedi Council would have been dissolved by the Sith in a minute because they all would have put the hate out on there. It's like, I don't like any of this. Yoda's like, Page, turn, he did. No more. But, so my main complaint about this is that the way he cheated, it wasn't that bad.
No.
I'm okay with the way he cheated. Like, him stopping Matt Jackson from breaking the pin. You should blame Nick Jackson for not being able to get out of the damn roll-up.
You don't lose to the Best Friends. You don't lose to them.
You don't lose to the Best Friends to a roll-up. And the fact that he kicked him out of the Elite and he was already trying to distance himself from it, that's like you going to your wife, Eric, saying, I want a divorce. And then 2 days later, she comes back and says, Eric, I'm leaving you.
Yeah, it's like, what the like, for me, when I looked at this whole entire situation, like, I don't understand why we're constantly building the Elite and we're building the Young Bucks. They already have a reputation. I felt what would have been better if you would have had Pride and Powerful come out there and cost the Best Friends the chance to fight for the number one contendership. I'm okay with
that. You can't do that because they did, and I'm going to give them credit. They did the smart thing because they're trying to save the Bucks and Revival from touching each other. They stopped that. So I give them credit for that.
I don't care if they touch each other or not.
Executed better. He needed to take one of them out. And I don't want to see anybody, and I'm sorry, Manny, I'm taking some of your time, but I don't want to see people crying in the back about a friendship that fall apart. This is a wrestling show. Testosterone should be high. I want to see you put your hands up, and I want you to punch him in the face because he cheated you. Don't throw his drink in his face like a little bitch. Don't start crying at me like a little bitch. You fight me like a man. Like a man.
Now, Manny, I want you to touch on some of the stuff that Marcus said, but also I have another question for you. Who is turning heel? First, Omega has heel tendencies, and now Page has heel tendencies. Are they both going evil? What the hell is going on?
So to add some sprinkling.
Sprinkle it, my brother. Sprinkle me. Sprinkle me.
And some of that sprinkling on that hateful plate you've laid already. Why did... I'm going to go completely off topic first. Why did this not happen, this tag team gauntlet happen on, Tag Team Appreciation Night? This would have made more sense. Like, come on. Well, and then I feel like Adam Page should go heel because he needs to get away from them. He 100% needs to get away from them. And Matt Jackson on socials this week made fun of Randy Orton for missing that punt kick at the back. But I would have to say that Matt Jackson's crying on TV was way worse than what Randy missing a kick on TV.
I also would say that Matt Jackson missing his dive the week prior, where Randy Orton commented on his missed dive was a lot worse than Randy Orton missing that punt. At the same time, I am a WWE biased person, so I could be biased in that situation.
But you know,
Fuck
I
Matt
don't want to
Jackson.
see anybody get kicked out of the treehouse, man. We're grown ass men. Matt is like 40 almost. You're a grown ass man. You're kicking people out your treehouse, man. Grow up. Like you're out of the bed. You're out of the bed, man. I don't care. So
I'm free, man.
I'm still getting paid. You're still paying me to be in your company.
So
I'm still here.
Surprisingly, everyone, I can say that there was two things that took place on AEW that I enjoyed. First one being the contract signing between MJF and Jon Moxley. Was it a perfect contract signing? No, because the big payoff was something that I did not want. However, I thought the commentary from MJF talking about what he did to become a wrestler, who he studied, who Jon Moxley studied, like the New Jacks and the Sabus and all that good stuff, and then even, you know, threatened to bring Renee Young some good times.
I thought Sabu in there. He didn't bring up Sabu.
I don't remember who he brought up. Doesn't matter, Marcus. Marcus, it's wrestling. I can make it up the way I want. And for that reason, Manny, how did you feel about the contract signing taking place?
So as I said on Friday this week, I thought the start of this contract signing was a bit ropey. It was not good until like MJF really saved it with his chitter chatter. But I had a problem towards the end, and it was the fact that if you were going to make a janky change to a contract, why would you want to face his lawyer?
Yeah.
Why not ban Wardlow from ringside at the title match?
Yeah, like the payoff was like, I have to watch you fight a lawyer. This is like, the lawyer wasn't that annoying in the first place that I want to see him get beat up. I didn't get it.
They went with a Paul Heyman situation in which you CM Punk finally gets his hand on, and this is more recent, finally gets his hand on Paul Heyman, or someone trying to get Bobby Heenan or Jimmy Hart or Jim Cornette. And this guy hasn't been around long enough for that. He's been around for about a week. He was on the previous week talking shit about, yo, Jon Moxley, I will sue your ass to do this. And then he talks again this week. He hasn't reached that annoying level yet. But again, I enjoyed the segment. But I don't know if you're going to gloss over this, Eric. I'm not 100% sure. But what did you think of the crowd being there? Did you think that added anything? That they added this audience?
I mean, for me, it added a sense of realism, but at the same time, at what cost? Like, are these people going to get sick? Are they going to wear masks? And I mean, as
they would if they wear masks like this.
The one guy that was wearing a mask right then and there. I mean, it's like, I don't know if it's really worth it, but you know what? To each is their own. Remember, this is Florida, so you can do what the hell you want to do in this situation.
This is how a masked person wear their headphones. Just like that. Just stupid. Doesn't make any sense. This is just as useless. I can't hear nothing. I'm not forbidding anything.
Marcus, do you know there's actually earphones that are made that are supposed to go play through your skull, so it doesn't go into your ear. It goes on your skull. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
No.
Oh, for vibrations.
Yeah, or something like that. And I'm like, oh.
No.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
So Marcus.
I mean, I'm already getting cancer from all these Bluetooth earphones. I don't really need brain damage as well to add to that.
So, you know, the contract signing was good, but I think by far my favorite moment of AEW had to be the Dark Order. And yes, I know I just said the Dark Order had my favorite moment, but the fact...
Keep some water so I can spit this out.
The fact that they walked out with they walked out with the coffin, and when I saw them walk out with the coffin, all I saw was the Ghana pallbearers doing the dance as they were walking out. And if they had a two-step with the coffin, would have took it to a whole nother level. But the fact that they took the coffin out, they opened up the coffin. I think 10 was in there dressed as Cody Rhodes. Then they laid the Nightmare Family. They announced Anna Jay as an official member. They went and they signed the girl who left NXT, Marcus. Brody Lee had an over-the-top celebration, high-fiving and thanking everybody and pulling. Well, I enjoyed this, and I shouldn't have. Marcus, do you agree?
No, you should have enjoyed it, man. That man was happy. He was happy, Eric. He's the one true champion. And Jim Ross called him the AEW champion. And I honestly believe the TNT title is the most important title in AEW. The one that Mox is carrying at MJF, if their title was so important, that should have ended the show instead of what ended the show. This was a celebration of all hate and all well. And the fact that they even paid for a coffin for people to come out, the fact that he beat up a guy in the middle of his celebration, the fact that they told Tony Schiavone to come join in, you need to interview me for a second. I enjoyed the Dark Order segment. However, I can't get shaken out my mind that ever since someone brought it to my attention, the Dark Order is nothing but a remake of Despicable Me, at which there's Gru, and then there's a bunch of minions who are a bunch of idiots doing a lot of ridiculous things. And it is hard to shake that.
So when Marcus made this analogy on yesterday, I likened it to the Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah.
It was just the Undertaker and some goons.
Now, Marcus, you are the resident New Japan expert. El Luchador in the chat said, Summer Struggle was fire. The crowd knows how to wear a mask too. Marcus, have you seen Summer Struggle?
I did. I watched it before we came on. Evil has lost his titles, pulling that he has Sasha Banks disease and cannot hold anything. It was a lot of title changes. Hiromu lost his junior title. Takahashi and Ibushi they didn't beat Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi. It was a good show. It was a really good show. It was outdoor on a baseball field.
Was my brother Switchblade on the show?
No, he's in America. He's on New Japan Strong, which I haven't watched yet. Wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt.
I knew I fucks with Switchblade, Marcus. You didn't know. You didn't know. So, speaking of wearing the Black Lives Matter shirt, Eddie Kingston and his crew came out to the ring. And this is the last thing I have to talk about. This. I don't know where they're going with this, but Eddie Kingston talking is the only thing I need to hear. And that's all I really have on this. Mehdi, do you have anything to add about this match with his crew going against him, wasting Brian Pillman Jr., who I feel, since they don't have any singles competitors, would do far better being pushed as a single wrestler than being just thrown away in a tag match with Sonny Kiss, Janela, and Griff Garrison?
Well, there was a graphic on there for someone. It was either Griff Garrison or Brian Pillman Jr., where it was like, this is their first debut in a 4-man match, in an 8-man match. And I was just like, why is that a stat? Why is that a stat? And is it now time that they are going to make the Quad Championship? Because I don't know where the hell they're going with this Eddie Kingston thing.
Would you want a Quad Championship or would you prefer a trios?
I don't want either.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're not needed.
Marcus, what about yourself?
I can't take any more tag matches in this company, man. I'm already OD'd on tag matches, and the fact that this makeshift faction of two teams getting together to want to be tag team champions when only one of them can actually become tag team champions in the current stands is insane. That the Lucha Bros aren't solo or just with Eddie Kingston. That the Butcher and Blade can survive on their own. I didn't need this match. It seemed like it was a waste of time, and I don't understand why they're together. As Eddie Kingston said, these are my friends from over the years, and I love them, and we're going to be together, and we're going to win the tag team titles, one of us, and we're going to be happy. And I was like, it don't make sense. But there's something you're missing out. There's a few things you're missing on this show, Eric, if this is the last thing.
That was the last thing I had. So to my surprise, that was all I was doing with AEW was right there, Marcus.
The rerun of watching... The rerun of
an hour and a half.
The rerun of watching Matt Cardona run to the ring and save somebody.
Nope.
It's Matt Cardona! Like, it was the exact same replay of the time he saved Cody. He's fighting for the honor of Dustin in the Nightmare Family. And I was like, I don't need that. Give me a Matt Cardona promo of who the hell Matt Cardona is. He's Zack Ryder to me. It's a job.
Well, no, see, I think...
And then,
go ahead. No, I was going to say, I think that's the problem with AEW and also, like, what TNA did. Is, like, no one will take the time to explain who these people are because they're just relying on the fact that people know who they are from WWE, and that's not how it works. You need to let people know who these people are, and that's the downfall. But go ahead with your point. Finish. Go.
And then the next thing, the battle of who gets to keep the gimmick when the Murder Hawk and Jake Roberts come out there. I believe they beat up somebody. I forgot who. Some white guy, I think. Or a person of color. And then Taz come out there with his lip dick Brian Cage. And Absolute Ricky Starks, who was dressed as fly as anybody this week. I'm going to give him best dress of the week.
I would give that. No, Mark. That's no.
No grown man should be beaten out of his own shoes.
Well, he didn't expect the fight. He didn't expect the fight when he was coming out there.
You know what? I did forget one thing, Mark. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. The All-In Battle Royal. Well, that's all I have.
The Casino Battle Royal. They have one every pay-per-view. They have one of these every pay-per-view, and it's the Casino Battle Royal is the Royal Rumble match. It's like what the Royal Rumble happened every pay-per-view, and that's what they're doing with this. And I don't understand why they're trying to tease me with this one. I mean, you had Eddie Kingston out there trying to win this. He's talking about one of us is gonna win this match as well. It's Battle Royal. All these guys can do so much better than being in these Battle Royals. And everybody always says when you're an WWE jobber, you go to AEW, they'll do something better for you. Everybody in that Battle Royal will be in the exact same spot in WWE, and everybody will be complaining. Like they did nothing. I want nothing to do with this. And Brian Cage is the worst. He's the worst.
I will point out that Absolute Ricky Starks, as Marcus called him, being knocked out his shoes, had arguably be the number one what the fuck moment of the week. But however, it was one moment that surpassed that, and that's when we'll get to NXT. We'll get to talk about that because unlike AEW, I have a lot of talking points for NXT. First and foremost, Karrion Kross did suffer a separated shoulder, and he had to relinquish his title so soon. I'm assuming a lot of people were happy because I didn't realize that Karrion Kross had a lot of hate. Apparently he does. But that's just the wrestling world. They all go to the hate school that I founded. But with that being said, Lord Regal and his committee of Prince Albert, Shawn Michaels, without a hat, which I feel like when he doesn't wear a hat, he's thinking. And I believe was Triple H in that room too?
Yeah.
But I would like to correct you. Prince Albert was not in that room. That was Lord Tensai running that room.
He would always be Prince Albert to me, sir. With that being said, they announced that next Tuesday, it will be, for the first time ever, in my opinion, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've ever had an Iron Man Fatal 4-Way that involves Finn Balor, Ciampa, who should not be in this match after what he did to poor Atlas.
He deserved it.
Wow.
Explain to me why Jake Atlas deserved it, man. Elaborate. Elaborate.
Every time, so there was a time where just around where the British boy, I can't remember his spot.
That is not a point for you, Wes.
Rockstar Spud or Drake Maverick.
Drake Maverick was clamoring for his job, and he was all behind him. And then he got beaten up a few times, and he's never been around since. Don't just leave your friend out there like that.
What if he had COVID, Manny? What if he had COVID?
You get tested when you enter that building.
So let me continue. Gargano's also in this match. So we have Balor, Gargano, Ciampa, and Cole. Now, I'm going to ask this question. This is an easy question for both. Manny, I go to you first. Of the four, who don't you want to win the championship?
I don't want Adam Cole to win because I want him to go to the main roster.
All right.
I want him to go on SmackDown.
Marcus, who don't you want to win the championship?
Well, because Manny took my pick, I'm going to just say a different one just because. I don't want Gargano to win the match.
Marcus, you could have went with the same pick.
No. This is a variety show. But it's either one of those two is a tie. Gargano and Cole, because Cole just lost it. I don't think we need a repeat of that. He had it for X amount of days. And Gargano is always seemed to be in the title picture. And he's so hateable. Grr.
All right. I would also concur. I don't want Gargano to win, but at the same time, if he does win, he does fulfill half of the prophecy that he laid out with him and Candice LeRae. But who knows? Marcus, who do you want to see win?
Oh, I'm going with Finn Balor should win. I mean, he is the biggest star on NXT, more mainstream known than any of these guys. And, he hasn't really been doing anything but putting guys over and having matches and stuff. I think he'd make a good champion. Currently, in this current incarnation of Finn, I would like to see as champion.
Manny, do you agree? Do you want to see the Prince get NXT gold once again?
Yeah, that would make him a 3-time NXT champion, wouldn't it?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I would like that. I'd like him to be the top dog in NXT and then allow that match for Karrion to come. And then what could be better? We could have, if the world starts opening up again, we could have the NXT champion versus the NXT UK champion.
Well, this is where I disagree. This is where I disagree with you both. I disagree with you both. It's funny how Marcus said he didn't want to pick the same person Manny did, but then Manny goes and picks the same person Marcus did. In my estimation,
Eric, I had an agenda with mine.
I understand your agenda. My agenda is that I would like to see the Stone Cold Killer known as Ciampa get Goldie back. I mean, Goldie was taken from him, and I would like him to get the title in this Iron Man match by any means necessary. I want him to go into that dark place, and I want him to poke some eyes out. I need people to lose eyes with Ciampa getting his title back. But that's just me.
But I believe it's gonna be probably. It's gonna be hard to live up to this, but people already, giving this match of the year already. Like, I don't know how it's not.
On paper, man. On
paper.
On paper, it seems really it's something else. And then I know Manny's excited because NXT UK is just right around the corner from restarting. And the very next thing I'm going to talk about on NXT probably had ramifications about NXT UK starting back, because guess what? For the first time ever, Tyler Breeze and Breezango have gold in WWE. They are the new tag team champions. And also, Tyler Breeze is the current left-right champion that I really wish somebody would direct me to where all this stuff started, because I really want to see it. I felt really good for Breezango getting this title win. Marcus, what about yourself?
It was actually a feel-good moment in a really good match. And, I didn't give them a shot in winning this, because I didn't consider the whole NXT UK starting and Imperium probably has to go back. But I never even considered that. And so when they won, it was just like, oh. And then it never dawned on me that Tyler Breeze has never won anything, ever. And so when they said that, and it was like, oh, shit, you know what? This is a good moment. He deserved it for all his work on Up, Up, Down, Down. And I hope we get similar promos as him being a tag team champion, because he's hella entertaining on that show. Just ridiculous.
And Manny, what about you? Were you happy to see Imperium lose, because they hadn't been doing anything as tag team champions, and Breezango getting a chance?
They were definitely the transitional champions for NXT. But the real thing is, Tyler Breeze told a joke and on Up, Up, Down, Down, and it hurt. You could feel the sadness in his voice. It's just like, oh, in my school at Flatbacks, I put up all the tag team titles that I've won, or any title that I've won in WWE, and they were like, yeah, it's an empty wall. And I was like,
oh,
pain.
It hurts so bad.
I just hope that WWE, or I should say NXT, I'm not really sure what they want to be called when we discuss them like this. I just hope they take some time and really flush out the tag division and make people want to go after the tag belts now with Breezango having it. Kind of like how they're doing the North American title, because I felt that the quest for the North American title was probably one of the better quests of all the weeks. We're backstage, we're getting interviewed with the new North American champion, Damian Priest, and guess who shows up? Timothy Thatcher. Timothy Thatcher just talking about, man, you disrespecting this title. You need to, you need to respect this and blah, 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 and all that good stuff. Then later on the night, they're interviewing the resident thick boy, and the thick boy is talking about how he wants his title. Too much disrespect for me because Cameron Grimes wasn't on the show this week. But then somebody else showed up, and that was Austin Theory. Austin Theory showed up, and he won a shot of the gold. And Marcus...
Oh, shit.
Wow, Manny, I'll go to you first. You talking about bullshit. Explain to me, my brother.
So we've been talking about quite an extent on all of our shows between me and Marcus. I believe on the podcast about the Velveteen Dream and Fire the Velveteen Dream, and with all these allegations. But the same shit is going on with Austin Theory, and you hear barely anything. This is bullshit. Honestly, this is bullshit. And they can only come down to one thing, and that's the man's color of his skin.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Because they have the exact same situation going. There's alleged evidence of both of them doing whatever they're supposed to be accused of.
Sending pictures to underage people, pretty much, Mark. Get it right.
Sending pictures to underage people and doing all this. And WWE has not released a statement or had to apologize or said they're going to look into an investigation and do all this with Austin Theory. But with Velveteen Dream, everybody has all this. I need an investigation. I needed a statement. Why is he back on my TV? This is a PG programming. There ain't no same fire. There's no way coming after Austin Theory for coming back. It was like, oh, he got demoted from being with Seth. That's the only chatter. There should be a hashtag fire Austin Theory if people are so righteous about their life. Or if these people are so righteous about this life, they should stop watching WWE programming. But, you know, people are full of shit, and they're racist, and they're a word I can't think of. Fuck them.
They're hypocrites, Marcus. They're hypocrites.
Hypocrites.
There we go. I mean,
hypocrites. I couldn't think of the word. I was too worked up.
There is nothing else that I can add to what you guys have already said, but we've already learned that America is not fair. And I'm not going to even put this on the world because I don't think the world cares as much about wrestling as we do because they have so much in NXT UK. Hell, they shut down the entire NXT UK over allegations, and yet Austin Theory.
No, that was COVID. It was COVID.
Okay.
Not allegations.
No, but I was trying to pay close attention to who they were showing in their vignette of that they're coming back, and was like, is there anybody there that may have allegations? Because there was a lot of them. So it was almost like looking at their roster and goes, who's left?
Manny, was Pete Dunne in the graphic?
No, but I would presume he would be one that, because he's trapped in the UK, he'd be probably one that would probably be able to go work in NXT UK for the time being.
Okay, that makes sense. But as I said, that the absolute Ricky Stark had the number 2 what the fuck moment of the week. The number 1 what the fuck moment is a 2-parter. It goes to our boy. I guess we could say we're resident fanboys of this man, although I know Manny is against this man this week. That is Robert Stone walking out with his Golden Girls glasses, though, with the chain, looking like a complete fool. But then he ends up getting completely ran over by a tank by Shotzi Blackheart, which was one of my favorite moments. I don't know if there's a wrestling school that teaches you how to do a tank bump, but god damn it, Robert Stone should teach you how to do the tank bump. Marcus, am I right? Am I right in that?
Absolutely. The tank bump, which I've never considered, is an art, and he took it and he got ran over his whole back over, and our girl Shotzi Blackheart, the unofficial intro host of the Sharpshooter or whatever the hell,
whatever this
is. Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was an amazing spot. It was very entertaining. Although it made no sense. None of it made any sense of how she and Mia Yim started to wrestle right after.
Well, because if I remember, Mercedes Martinez refused to fight Mia Yim in this situation, and that's what happened, and Shotzi became the fill-in. Manny, you had a lot of Asian on Asian crime in this match. How did you feel with Mia Yim losing to Shotzi?
Well, you know where my allegiance goes. When
I know where it goes, man.
It goes straight to the Filipino, and the Filipino won. But the match was really enjoyable.
It was a good match. I
really enjoyed this match, and then me and Marcus love a throat punch, and we got one. And it was a quick jab. It was like a quick jab, and it was amazing. It was like, pow!
Yeah, it was
coming.
I mean, I think Wes says Rob Stone has come a long way since TNA. I think the thing that really excels in NXT is the storytelling. Like, you really didn't need this throwaway tank moment, but you know there's beef between Shotzi, Robert Stone, and his whole crew, and Aaliyah looking helpless right there. I enjoyed whatsoever. And then you go and you give a solid wrestling match that has a true finish with Mia Yim and Shotzi. It just says this is what wrestling is about. You want finishes. And then we go into another title match, which surprisingly to me, I think could been arguably one of the best matches of the week. That's Santos Escobar going against Swerve Scott. And the finish of this match to me is so clever because you know what it was, is that he put the luchador mask on and it had some type of plate in there that knocked him the fuck out, but no one knew what was going on. They were trying to sell the headbutt. So I can't wait for the big reveal that he has a loaded luchador mask. Marcus, did you like the ending of how Swerve Scott lost his match?
Yeah, I thought it would protect the Swerve Scott. It gives Santos Escobar a different edge to him. It's like having an iron claw or the power of the punch or even a loaded elbow pad. I really enjoy little storylines like that, especially when they get exposed and it backfires on them. Like when Swerve Scott will put on a lucha mask and headbutt his opponent. And I just can't wait. I like that stupid shit. But it was a really enjoyable match. Really good.
Manny, do you think we're going to get a follow-up with Swerve Scott talking about what happened and how he got knocked out with the thing? Or is he going to make a connection that the luchador match was loaded?
I think they're very high on Swerve Scott at the moment. So more TV time for Swerve will be a good thing. And I feel like this is definitely going to carry on. I think they're done with Drake Maverick and they're done with Breezango. So I feel that they're moving on to Swerve.
I don't feel like they're 100% done with Maverick. I think there's something there with him and
Killian
Dane in their tactic. Yeah, he pushed him, but it was more of a love tap.
I mean,
get away from me. You're gross.
He did make the save, but I'm not talking about that right there. Last thing I want to talk about is that Dakota Kai and Big Mama Ku, Raquel Gonzalez defeated Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. For me, I just hope this is setting the groundwork for them to become the new women's tag team champions, because I don't know if I can take Shayna and Nia Jax as champions too long. I would hope that somehow, some way, that Sasha and Bayley get a fluke win so Shayna and Nia Jax don't become the champion, and you give it to a more deserving team like Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. You don't want to see Nia Jax
in the Performance Center? This is the one way to get her back into the developmental, Eric. She can relearn to wrestle by going to NXT and becoming champion. I'm just saying.
Marcus, I don't need it that much.
She's not like most girls.
But don't you guys agree that Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez would probably be a better pairing to take the titles away from Sasha and Bayley after they implode? Because I assume that at Payback that Jax and Baszler are going to implode with each other and end up fighting each other. Manny, is that what you hope happens?
Well, it's inevitable, isn't it? When it's these types of tag teams where they're just put together, that they always end up breaking up. Unless you're Cesaro and Sheamus, where you become the bar.
And I think Grudge Smurf made the most excellent point why Nia Jax and Shayna can't become tag team champions. You don't need Nia Jax coming back to NXT and hurting the entire roster of NXT.
You need her to go back to NXT to develop how to wrestle.
Yeah, but she's going to take out everybody. Caden Carter going to be hurt, Marcus. Shotzi going to get hurt.
It's something like Shayna because he said she ugly. This is an excuse to put her back.
Can we get my girl Xia Li back on TV? We want Xia. Damn it.
Your girl's off TV. By the way, I feel Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai will be the perfect tag team to take it and go from show to show. But also, the KC Express, man. Don't ignore them. Don't sleep on that. Or even Mercedes and Aaliyah. I feel like the tag team division is deeper than any men's tag team division. And if they just merge the tag team titles together, just merge all your tag team titles together, so you don't have 3 weak divisions and you have one solid division, the WWE tag team division would actually be good.
Guess what, gentlemen? That's all I got. That is technically the show.
Whoa.
There's no listener feedback.
No, we have no emails this week.
Oh, what?
Well, because you know why? Because you guys do so many shows. I hope you guys go and you guys actually go and interact with people in the comments, because people have left comments for you guys that I can't personally comment on because I wasn't a part of you guys' show. So you guys really need to do that.
Okay, Matt Jackson.
This might be something where we start imploring that people actually join the Facebook, or we start a Reddit where we can actually see this stuff more clearly. Because unless you're logged into the Sharpshooter, you don't really get a login to see. You don't really see
the comments.
Notifications that come up.
Well, Manny, if you know how to create a Reddit, go ahead. Because I've never used Reddit in my life.
You don't use anything.
I don't.
You read books?
I do. I've been listening to books lately.
You use a newspaper?
As Wes said, DSPN has we have oversaturated the market, but however, Marcus has a 98% chance of going on location for the next 6 to 8 weeks. So we might not have as much product coming out during those 6 to 8 weeks. So,
and it means I'm running the show.
Manny is running the show.
Marcus is on the road.
Yeah, I don't even know. To be honest, I don't even know if I'm going to be on the show next week. I may not be on a Sharpshooter episode next week.
Oh man, do you understand how it would kill Marcus if he's not on this show?
I've never missed an episode.
He never missed an episode. Even the one episode where he had bad internet, he still made it on the show a little bit.
Oh, that was the one where we were vamping while he was struggling with everything going on in the background.
Yeah, that's when his bathroom exploded.
Yeah. But next week I may not be on because, it's a 98% chance that Friday is when I first go up north. And then, a Saturday I'm probably working, but I don't know what my schedule is going to be I'm not going to know anything until Monday. Well, so stay tuned. I could be gone. This could be my final episode.
Well, Marcus, I think this is more reason for you to buy a laptop too, because you don't know what your internet situation is going to be. And, you don't even know what your cable situation is going to have to be. So you might have to depend on me to provide you with wrestling content to watch.
Shit.
There's a lot of aspects that you haven't thought about.
A roommate, and I won't have to eat man TV. Like, man, I need to watch this Monday Night Raw. You watching Raw? Nigga, let's do it. I got no habit. I got no one going on retribution, man. Get back.
Like I said, Marcus, laptop, noise canceling earphones, and I think in your situation, a laptop will be better than, let's say, an iPad Pro, because you don't even know what the Wi-Fi situation in the place that they put you up with is going to be. You might have to go to like a Starbucks to use their Wi-Fi.
I'm going to be close to San Francisco. That's all I know, and I know that's close to Silicon Valley. So I'm assuming I should have Wi-Fi. I don't think I'm not in the booties.
Mark, it could be San Jose for all you know. No one told you. Did they tell you what city it's going to be?
I forget. I can look up the casino if I would choose to, but I haven't. I just know it's very close to San Francisco.
That would have been the first thing I would have done.
Manny, you don't understand my brother Marcus right now.
I don't know how he doesn't understand. He sees in our pre-show meetings how I put together the show within 5 minutes. I'm trying to do the show.
No. He's not putting together a show. He's making something for the show within 5 minutes for the start of the show.
I'm like, bang.
Marcus, what we could do so you can save you some coin, we can go to Costco and buy you a MacBook Pro from there and save you a lot of money. And you can just write me a check or something to give me the money to pay it back.
You want a check, Mom?
Well, can you take out that much cash?
Yeah, I gotta write you a check there.
Yeah, exactly.
Who still uses checks?
We do.
Well, yeah, we're still using checks. Currently, in order to pay like the benefits, so we keep our benefits, we have to write a check of a certain amount of money to give it to the company, and then and I'm like, this is bullshit.
Really, I never heard that angle, but okay.
Yeah, I'm sending checks to my company for paying for my benefits.
So you're paying for your own benefits. I guess I should ask, since we do have some extra time, do the people in the chat room have any questions?
Oh, while they ponder their 30 seconds of questions, just remember, tomorrow night, since we're oversaturating the market, we will be live after Payback. Me and Manny with the Untitled Manny at Market Show. Live after Payback.
Ain't that some shit?
If you thought I was going to be tired on SmackDown, watch me on Sunday.
Don't worry, Manny. I'll keep your ass awake. I'm going to yell more than ever. when Roman don't win that title, or I find out that I'm no longer the DSPN champion or the DSPN champion, I will keep the whole goddamn neighborhood awake about it. Because I will be complaining to the commish. I will be complaining to the mayor. I'm going straight to the governor and the president of the United States, who probably will shoot me. But I will complain my ass off until justice is served.
I feel what would be funny is if we actually thought that Nia Jax pulled off a 5-star match, and then the match on Tuesday will be for the ESPN title.
You guys see how cold it is? They didn't even give me they didn't even give me an invite. I'm like,
well, the thing
you
is,
could have watched all of our shows. You would have known.
If you watched every single show, you would have heard my emotional Black Lives Matter speech,
which was very good.
Which was impromptu. Did not plan on that at all. Manny riled me up, and it was well said.
You guys didn't want me on the show that week because I was an angry ball of fire, and we probably would have got pulled off the air if I would have talked about anything.
I felt like I hosted and guided Marcus through that.
Yeah,
without getting us taken off the air.
See, Manny, the thing is, Marcus can't be guided, even when he's angry. Marcus knows that when Eric gets angry, it's not a good thing. I don't like it. Wes asked me, what system am I getting Battlegrounds for? This is a very loaded question because if I'm going to play with Manny with Battlegrounds, I have to get it for Xbox One. But I also will probably
we all discussed this. That we'd get it for me and Marcus were going to get it for Xbox One, which would mean you would have to get it for Xbox One, and then we could broadcast this stuff and have another show on the network.
Woo!
Well,
too much for me because I'm not taking my Xbox up there. I have no reason to take my. Will it make the trip? It might make the trip.
He also asked.
I'm gonna need an entertainment device. There it is.
He also asked, "Is anyone buying Madden 21?" I haven't bought Madden since Madden 30. I don't know which one that is.
I've been boycotting Madden since they took out Colin Kaepernick. I'm just playing. No, I stopped. I just stopped playing Madden because I suck at it, and people are really good, and it's a very repetitive game. I like 2K.
All right, Grunge Smurf asked, "Did you see the Gotham Knights trailer?"
No. There's it's an animated. It's not an anime. It's a game. Gotham Knights is coming out, and I saw it. It looks intriguing, just like every Batman game and everything Batman for me. But I won't play it probably.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else except for I might have to hop on the road and go pick up Marcus so we can watch the Laker game together and go from there.
Excuse me. You called it a Laker game? Is Dame Lillard playing?
No, Dame Lillard left the bubble.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like
the end of the Trailblazers then.
Well, I think he knew it was the end of the Trailblazers.
Still playing Madden 16.
Dude, how are you still playing Madden 16? You know, honestly, I can't.
Hold on, homie. I know people that still play these old ass Maddens, and to be honest, they are the smart ones. They're not buying the same game every year like some people.
Let me tell you,
they have 16. They update their rosters, and they cool.
Let me tell you. You know what game I've been extremely tempted to buy, and this game is on the Switch. It is on everything. It is PGA 2K1. I don't know why I am tempted to buy a golf game. But
hey, golf games are fun. They're fun.
No, they're not. If they're arcadey, then they are fun. But if it's the sim one like the EA one, man, that looks tiring, boring.
See, Manny? See, that is one man's perspective. Marcus and I, growing up, we played us some PGA golf with the. You would see us whispering when it came time to hit the controller to putt. I've actually.
What to say? He's gonna miss this putt. He's gonna miss this putt.
I've actually thrown.
I got there. Golf is worse.
I have thrown and broken many controllers from playing golf.
Yeah, playing golf, cause it's not just playing golf. It's playing golf with someone in the room with you and playing against them. And you know, you have if I were to describe it, it's shady golf commentary, which is just us whispering and talking shit to each other of like, this motherfucker's gonna miss this putt. Look at this shit here. Look, he don't even know where his break is, breaking to the left, but I've already made 10 of these putts already. He's already 3 strokes behind. Only thing he know how to stroke is his net. And like, it's just nonstop. Just shit talk. in golf. If golf had the shit talking we have in our household, it would be a better sport.
I believe 2K1 is online too. So, El Luchador says Batman Arkham series was fire. Marcus, did you play any of those games? I know I still have them in a crate in plastic.
I played the first one. It was really good. I may have dabbled in the second one, but I didn't finish it or something along those lines. But I just don't. I don't play video games because I'd rather just watch a movie of Batman in Arkham Asylum than actually playing the game. I don't actually want to be Batman, guys. I want to watch Batman do Batman things.
And the question in the chat was, what consoles do we have? I think both Marcus and Manny both have Xbox Ones. I have an Xbox One, a PS4, and 2 Nintendo Switches.
And an Atari 2600.
And a Sony PSP, just for the shit and giggles.
Sega Dreamcast.
Oh, my PSP somewhere.
Dude, PSP
is the greatest.
PSP was
console.
the greatest.
It was the greatest looking console, which had nothing on it. It had nothing worth a damn on it, other than Luminous.
Man, Luminous was the game. But Marcus, they re-released Luminous, I think, on the Switch, and they added something that I thought I always wanted with Luminous, but I realized it really breaks the game. So you remember how when you first played Luminous, you played until you died, and then if you died, you had to start over at the beginning? They put save points in Luminous, and it just ain't the same when you don't have that sense of failure.
That's why that's the one thing I hate about modern video games. And Netflix has this video game documentary because I'm completely out of shit to watch on TV and I'm rewatching old shit. I was watching this Netflix documentary and I was like, that's back when video games were good, man. When you couldn't save nothing. When you had to just go out there and just win or beat this game in one shot. Otherwise, you go back to the beginning, or you got to remember a passcode to go back. And that's when games were challenging. That's when your life mattered more. Now, every video game to me, and this is one of the things that just bugged me and annoyed me, was they took the Halo thing of, I've been hit, so I'm going to run away, duck away, and I'll get my power. No, you got to find the chicken. Hey, you got to find the chicken in the trash can to get your power back.
If you want that type of pain, man, there's plenty of games that will give you that pain that you're searching for. Let me give you Sekiro. That game is brutal. Because it's like from Dark Souls.
I hate any game like that. I got so angry with it.
The Devil May Cry series. Let me tell you
I played the Devil May Cry series, but you can save in those. Those are fun beat 'em ups.
Let me tell you, Marcus, Sekiro is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played, but it's the most painstaking game that I've ever played in my entire life. Because soon as you figure out how to get past one person, the very next person you got to fight whoop your ass. And it's like, man, I can't figure out how to beat these people.
I tell you, the game that was like that for me when they whooped my ass was back in the PlayStation, I want to say 3? What PlayStation we on right now?
We're on 4.
The PlayStation 3 maybe, or PlayStation 2, Ninja Gaiden, where I got beat the shit out of for months and months. But you know what? I almost got to the end of it before I got too frustrated and got a job or something. I don't know. I just stopped playing because I couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take that pressure. It was one thing to go from the bouncer to just, it's an easy beat 'em up, to this shit. I was like, this is hard.
So Wes asked, I have 2 Switches. Yes, I have the original Nintendo Switch, and then I got a Switch Lite Pokemon edition. It was a very nice looking Switch. I think that's about it, right? Nothing else. I can go check the emails one more time. Make sure we don't have none.
No, we're done. We're done. We're calling it a day. With this in the show on a reasonable note, we're done. I've talked too much for the week anyway. Eric, I'm going to cordially invite you to tomorrow's roundtable or post payback discussion. Would you like to be a part of that?
I will talk to
Can we call it a payback slumber though?
Because I know you're around that time. You're looking to go to sleep because it's 7:30 or something. I don't know. Your fucking time you're going to sleep. 2, you're looking to eat. 3, you have a family and, other shit. So that's why you weren't invited, because you normally did. Like, you didn't want to do SummerSlam last week.
Okay. I mean, I'll speak with my people and I'll have an answer for you. Depends on how tired I am. With that note, we hope you guys...
I guarantee you I'll be more tired than you.
Yes. And the only reason why I would come on the show so I could be like Captain Save the Day. with that note, we hope you guys
Captain
enjoy.
Save the Day?
Captain Save the
Captain
Day.
Save the Day?
Well, Ryan's.
That's the laziest superhero name of all the time. I'm Captain Save the Day.
Well, Ryan is already Captain Save a Hoe, so I don't want to, be that.
Ooh.
So,
He out there. He out there.
He out there, man. He out in the streets, man. He protect the weak and the fallen. With that being said,
you damn
right I'm in my feelings on Luchador. I was hurt, man. They didn't even ask me, man. They doing all these side moves. They don't tell me anything. All I got is a Saturday show.
Hang on, you've got the gentleman's chat.
No, that is the Disman show. I was just the first guest.
No, I thought that was your show with the Disman.
No.
That's what the chat believed.
And that just shows you how the writing was probably bad.
No. You have hate on the plate. You have hate on the plate. It ain't came out yet, but you got hate on the plate. It's like the X-Men's New Mutant movie, in which it took 7 years to actually come out.
It wouldn't be called Hate on the Plate, Marcus. That is not the name of the show.
What?
No. I have a better title, but if
I ain't watching that shit.
I know you're not. With that, I mean, huh? No. Anyway, I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny. Hey, Hayes.
Ho, I'm Marcus, the grand finale.
And we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And until the next time a show happens when we don't know what's going to happen because no one knows what Marcus is going to do. He's like the wild card right now. Stay sharp. Until next time, we're out.
Don't know.